Hi, I'm Sandy Coleman. We live in Lubbock, Texas, and this is my wife, Sandy, and we've been married for 41 years, and we've always had horses. I'm a farmer. I grow cotton and peanuts and grains, and we raise horses too, and the horses gives us our sanity into the farming.
I'm a retired agricultural lender for over 25 years. I've been retired now for about 3 years. My big goal in my life has always been to keep people on the farm, keep farmers on the farm, keep kids showing animals. I'm really big into supporting our youth in agriculture because they're our future. And my true love has always been the horses, and like he said, it's sanity, but it's also gives you something to look forward to. Something happens here, something happens with the horse industry new every day. So it's just been a blessing to us to always be able to be involved with the horses.
I went to college on the rodeo team and rodeoed and roped a lot. Our kids started getting older and I slowed down on my roping. I was good enough to go professional, but I was just good enough to starve to death. We started slowing down our roping as our kids got more involved in tennis and stock showing and school activities. And I realized whenever I was gone that they did stuff, I never got it back, so I started slowing down. And we were in Ruidoso at the horse races, and I ran into a college friend of mine that is one of the top quarter horse trainers in the nation, and I told him that I wanted a racehorse. He said, "You don't want a racehorse." I said, "That's the last thing in the world that you need." I said, "No, I want a racehorse." He said, "Okay, I'll look around." So he called us back in about 3 months, and he said, "I found you a racehorse." So we found a horse that they ran for claiming prices, and it ran 870 yards. And so we started running that horse, and we had more fun than the law should allow. We couldn't win a race, but we could run second to a good horse. So anyway, we went, after we got through running that horse for a couple of years, we went to the New Mexico bred sale at Ruidoso, and we started looking for horses. And I noticed while we were doing that the Blaine's owners that were consistent winners were the ones that were breeding their own horses. So I told him, I said, let's look for a filly. So we went to the sale and we bought 2 fillies. The first one we bought was in the Fame, and it qualified for the sale fraternity. And she wasn't fast enough to beat the good horses, but we qualified, and we sold her, and we took that money and turned it into Runaway Romance.
You know when a horse is special, and she was really special. The first time I saw her at the sale, I was thinking to myself, please, please, please be able to buy her. And it was just a love affair between me and her. She wasn't a big mare. She had the biggest heart, though, you ever knew. Good mind. She was just so special, and she ran so well for us. My dad was a breeder, and so I learned a lot. I give everything to my dad in terms of my knowledge on horses, because he was one of the best. He always took good care of his horses, and he taught me to always take good care of my horses. And he always said, if you find a horse that's irreplaceable, you don't sell them. You don't sell something you can't replace. Well, Runaway Romance, you couldn't replace. And when she got done with her running career, we started breeding her.
We were running horses, and we had never won a race. So we had her and another horse, Trust Fames, that we took to El Paso to the trials of the West Texas fraternity. And we ran those 2 horses that day, and we won our first 2 races that day. Yeah. And on top of that, we qualified both for the finals of the fraternity. And I thought, this is an easy game. We're on cloud 9. So we come back and run the finals of the fraternity, and I'm standing down on beside the track with our trainer, and I look up and we're running first and second in this fraternity. And we get right to the wire, and a horse caught us right at the wire, so we ended up second and third. But I was disappointed, but I was so happy. But come to find out, the horse that ended up catching us ended up being world champion that year. So we go to Ruidoso and run and Runaway Romance. She did good, and we finished out her career, and she won, I think, 4 races before she got through, and she ran out about $90,000. And so we took her and started breeding her. My side of the bloodlines are Lakeview Dreams, basically, and Sandy's.
My side's Runaway Romance, but I lost Runaway Romance at a very young age.
Running an athlete, it's no different than a human or an animal. Your feeding program is very important.
Feeding is really important, of course, but I also think routine and schedule is equally important. You don't ever want a horse to worry when they're going to get fed, if they're going to get fed. So we feed at between 6:30 and 7 every evening, or in the mornings, and at 4:30 to 5 in the evenings. So Randy is usually your morning person, and I try to be here as much as I can in the afternoons. We are very fortunate. We hire interns out of Texas Tech in their equine program. And so right now we have 3 or 4 that trade off, and sometimes they're all here. And then sometimes we just have 1 or 2. We have an apartment here in our barn, and so we offer some living quarters so that we can give the kids an opportunity to see what goes on here, and also to help and also get some experience, that helps them further their careers.
Hi, my name is Ashlyn Griffin. I'm from southeast New Mexico, a little town called Tatum, and I go to Texas Tech here in Lubbock.
My name is Clay Krause. I'm from Stephenville, Texas, and I'm a pre-veterinary student here at Texas Tech.
My name is Claire Nichols. I'm from Henderson, Texas, and I am studying equine production at Texas Tech.
So I'm very lucky. I get to come out here and work with these racehorses every single day. Basically, what our job entails is we come out here, we feed, we'll get trailers ready to take horses out, we come back, basically just do regular doctoring things if somebody gets hurt. Mostly what we do is come out here and have a lot of fun and learn a lot.
This is kind of a special place for me, and this is kind of my final step towards veterinary medicine, I hope.
Students live out here, and we have a mutual friend, and so she was like, Sandy and Randy need somebody to live out here, and I was like, I'll take it.
I have grown hay in the past and did okay at it, and then we had a young lady that was from Washington that was here at Tech on the rodeo team. She got through with her rodeo years and she moved over to the ranch horse team, and she stayed in our apartment here in the barn, and the young man that she was dating at the time moved her horses in. They unloaded hay off of the back of the trailer, and I said, "Where did y'all get that hay at?" And they said it came from Colorado, from the Decker farm. And I said, "Okay, I'd like a phone number." And so we got the phone number from the Deckers and started ordering hay in here. And their hay is always so high quality, and he sends us basically the premium hay that he has. But to make these horses conformation and their body grow, their bones and cartilage and everything, we were looking for the best hay. We also feed Purina Feeds, and we have a person from Purina that comes in here and helps us with our nutrition and everything, and they recommend the feeds that we feed, and they check us about once a month and come through here and look at the horses, and trying to grow a body and keep the mares in foal and everything. We try to feed them the highest quality feeds we can. And we feed alfalfa for a reason, that alfalfa is good for a horse's stomach, and it cuts down on ulcers and everything, where you're feeding them the actual hay and the alfalfa soaks it up. And if you're feeding sorry alfalfa, it's not going to do its job, and then you start having problems with colics and everything else in the horses.
We feed a high quality feed, whether it's the alfalfa, the grains, or whatever. We are very, very conscious of protein levels, carbohydrate levels, It's really important to feed a good product. If you want a good outcome, you got to put in the good feed. Growing these babies is hard. You can't cut corners. And if you start cutting corners, that shows right away in how they're developing. Are they developing the right bone? Are they developing overall? What's their body score? How are they growing? How are they growing up? Are they growing to the size you want? On and on.
Well, when we're buying hay, we're looking for good green, solid bales with a lot of leaves on the stems. And I don't want anything that's dry or steamy. I want the real product, and I won't buy it if it's been rained on. We've probably been buying hay for 8 to 10 years from the Deckers, and when they were first sending us loads, the hay was wonderful. Well, they started steaming their hay, and all of a sudden the quality of the hay got exactly the same every time we open a bale. The flakes that we get out are all basically the same size. The leaves are connected to the deal, and we never have any issues with that anymore. And they send it in the 3-strand bales, and their hay is put up so well that there's a lot of leaves. Oh, the horses love the hay. We can go through and we're feeding in the mornings, and they're all at the feeders, and they never make a move until all the hay is gone.
You know, even when it lands on the ground, it's not falling apart, it's not blowing away. It's just something that you know, stays really retained, stays really clean.
We started splitting it in half, and it is the easiest hay to split in half. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to split hay in half, but it's really easy. It's also different for me because we feed cubes. And so this is, I would compare it to cubes because it just sticks right together.
I mean, the flake quality is awesome.
Yeah.
Just like the density, they're very thin, compact flakes. I'm really impressed with that. I did a little bit of living in southern Colorado for a while, and Colorado hay is, I think, just superb, and this just completely takes it to a whole new level. It's phenomenal.
I like that they're easy to pull apart from each other because usually you're struggling to find that one flake, and these, you can find them, pull them apart, and there's your flake.
The consistency of it, the size of the flakes are always good. You can see that. That's a really nice sized flake. Not too big, not too little. And it's that way all the way through. You know, you can look on both sides of your flake and they're the same, which is also nice. You can, not that much comes out. I mean, you just don't lose a lot of leaf. I mean, it's very, very consistent, very good quality hay.
This is steamed hay here, and I can take it up, I can take it and it'll break in two, and when I do that, all the leaves don't fall out of it. Everything stays intact. I don't have a big pile of hay here from everything. The one off of the end is the same, and every flake on here is the same size. We can go through here, and when we're feeding this, everything is consistent for what we do, and we're not having to change anything to get the same amount of hay out.
Hay is at a premium, as we all know right now, especially with drought years and all. And so we're very fortunate because with the Decker hay, the steamed hay especially, our consistent level, we've been so blessed because we don't have that problem that other horse owners have, you know, trying to get that same consistent hay. When they're feeding hay, they're at the mercy of wherever they get it. With us, we know that when it comes in here on that truck, it's going to be great hay. You never have to worry about it.